Hello everyone. Today on Scottish Memories, I am chatting to a very good friend of mine, Ian Sheepie Smith. So how are you all? I hope you are all happy and healthy and safe out there, wherever you are. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, and especially on podcast, if you haven't, please remember to subscribe on there as well. But today, I'm over the moon. I get to talk to an old friend. Today I'm chatting to fellow ex-Edinburgh Dungeon actor and one of my dearest friends. He is gently becoming a pantomime legend in Motherwell, where he has been doing the panto there for 11 years. It is my absolute pleasure to chat to my dear friend Ian Sheepie Smith. Sheepie, hello, how are you?
Alright. How are we? We okay? Look, here we go. Scottish Memories. I'm ready.
Does that help you remember?
Yeah. Well, I know what I'm doing today. I put that on when I woke up. So yeah, but obviously it's my real hair. So
It looks good. It looks good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm very well. Yeah, I'm good considering what's happened this year. But yeah, like doing away, as they say, doing away. But yeah.
You healthy and everything like that?
Healthy, as you can tell. I went for the Tony. Tony! See? And then put a bonnet on.
You really have gone for the Tony right now, yeah?
You inspired me, mate. You inspired me. So, but yeah, I'm healthy, doing fine, looking for employment as being an actor. But apart from that, I'm healthy, I'm doing fine, and putting on the weight due to lockdown.
I'm exactly the same. I caught myself in the mirror earlier on today and I was like, I am like the backside of an elephant right now.
Stop it! No, I'm not having that. I think, obviously, I think it was yesterday the gyms opened.
Yeah.
Here in Scotland. Now, I was a member of Pure Gym, and literally, obviously, it was frozen, the account and stuff like that, and it came back saying, you can go back to the gym. I was like, freeze for another month, because I'm not there yet, physically and mentally. To go back, I think it's I don't know, a bit too risky maybe for a gym at the moment for me. I'm creeping my way back in there, but
Yeah, we're the same. Because obviously, I mean, that Kirsten is very much expecting.
Ready, very close.
The day that everyone is seeing this is actually the due date. So,
arrival.
As you and me are relaxing talking right now, I could be in the hospital screaming louder than Kirsten.
Tell you what, you'll look whiter than you are now.
I know. Look at me.
That wasn't a dig. I was just trying to say. I think
before I get started on the big questions, like I said, you and me were Dungeons, and it just made me think about this in my face. I mean, we lived underground. We essentially lived underground.
Underground, putting white makeup on, probably illegal makeup on that probably has wrecked our skins in the long run. I don't know, but I've definitely deteriorated over the years. But yeah, I think the Dungeons, Tony.
Because I was going to say, I worked there for 7 years, 7 coming up for 8 years. And it did get to the point where, you know how we covered ourselves in white makeup? Yeah. I looked healthier with the white makeup.
It's when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I can't wait to get underground again.
I mean, I can remember in the winters, because obviously the sun sets quite early and gets up quite late here in the winter. I can remember going to work in the dark, staying on the ground all day, and then leaving work in the dark for like 2-3 months.
That is true. That is. You didn't know what time it was.
No.
Apart from your rota, that's how you judge time.
Yeah. And if you were lucky, you possibly got to go out to Mama Said on Coburn Street and buy some lunch quickly.
That's right.
That was your vitamin D for the day. 2 minutes outside.
Come out.
So you are an Aberdeen boy.
I am. Yeah, I don't know if you've had an Aberdeen one yet. Aberdeen boy.
Not any Aberdonians on yet, no.
Well, yeah, like obviously the accent, for your viewers and stuff are probably going, if they know what an Aberdeen accent's like, obviously Scotland. I think people, when they judge Scotland abroad, they just think, they go, hello, okay, how you doing? But obviously Scotland's got a lot of dialects, different accents. But I was born in Aberdeen, outside Inverurie, was the place. It's got a little town sort of outside Aberdeen, and but I moved very early on, about when I was 4. So I don't really have a lot of memories. Good for the show in Aberdeen, because I was 4.
As well, it's not called Aberdeen Memories.
Hey, I'd be struggling, but I could probably, I would manage somehow. Talk about the football team. I do support the football team, which is a brave choice, if I'm honest. Growing up was a very brave choice, because we moved to Erskine, which is outside Glasgow, when I was 4. And then I moved...
I was talking to Kirsty Strain a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And all the names that we've got for places in Scotland are just brilliant. Erskine, you couldn't get that anywhere else.
That's what I mean. People don't think it's real. Erskine Bridge. That's what it's famous for, really, the bridge.
And you, of course.
Well, I don't think people know it. As I was saying, then I moved to Edinburgh, where obviously, I didn't meet you straight away because I was like 11. But
I was waiting at the gates for you. Hello.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend. How are you?
There at the other side of the M8. But yeah, I kind of moved to a place called Newton Grange.
Oh, lovely.
Which is in Midlothian, part of Edinburgh, not in the city centre, on the outskirts, darling. Yeah. And home of the Mining Museum, Tony, which you might want to do for another show, because that's very good, But obviously, when I moved, it was Newton Grange, but it's called Knitting by the Bing back in the day. That's what people, I went on a bus once and said, "Hi there." First of all, the bus driver completely sort of slagged me, because in Edinburgh, buses are different from Glasgow, Aberdeen. There's a set fare. So you can go on at my house, go all the way through Edinburgh for the same price you would get if you went on 2 stops or 1 stop, right? And I always remember saying to the bus driver, I said, took the headphones out, and said, single, as you would say, like a single fare, single. Yeah. And he's turned around and went, "Are you, mate? That's a shame. Hopefully you'll get a girlfriend soon." I thought, everyone's a comedian. This was going away to do a comedy show. I thought, I'll take that. But yeah, then I used to go, single to Newton Grange, and then I was like, nothing. And so, yeah, couldn't win with that guy. But yeah, I don't know where I went from it. And then I moved to where I am now, and here, Motherwell. So I've been around Scotland.
You have been about, because my next question was going to be, growing up, did you get to see much of Scotland? But you definitely sound like you did.
Yeah, like, obviously, sort of done like a bit of a triangle, then back a bit, kind of missing going back, maybe Aberdeen one day, back to the homeland. But I think, I've kind of seen all different sides and different, as I said, dialects as well. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, maybe that's where I get sort of my acting accents and impressions from. But I think, I've seen, obviously, East, West Coast. You would think from being an hour away from maybe Glasgow to Edinburgh. But yeah, like the weather, I don't know what your weather's like, but you wouldn't think an hour away the weather changes. Like,
it does.
I'll say to Mum, I'll go, "How's the weather today, Mum?" "Sunny." "How's yours?" "Raining." "How?" "Hour apart." But, it is different. But no.
I went out last night to get a chippy, my friend. We went when a pregnant lady tells you she wants a chippy, you get her a chippy. So I nipped out. Honestly, it was one of those times where you just sort of went, "Sky's a funny colour, isn't it? Sky's a funny colour." I'd ordered it on the phone so that I didn't have to stay in too long, because, like I said, we're very aware, wearing masks and everything all the time. So ordered it on the phone, went to pick it up, literally 1 minute out the house, and the heavens just opened. Like it was at the point where, where you're out in the rain and you're like, there's no point in me running. It's coming down that heavy. I'm just going to get soaked so quickly.
Just embrace that.
You just sort of take it and go, yeah, okay. So I'd walked to the chippy, got the chippy, walked back, and then as soon as I walked in the house, stopped.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that is people to say. I don't know if it was Kirsty Strain that you had on one of your previous guests. I'd say about layers. I don't know if it's that, but actually you need to go prepared. Like, as you said, even to the chippy sometimes with 3 outfits on.
Yeah. It's very true, and you're right about the accents as well. I've said this before. I can't remember who. because I've been very lucky with some of my guests so far, and I'm kind of losing track of who I said what to. And very lucky with you as well, my friend. Don't think I was dissing you there. I'm very glad.
That's taken. No, that's taken.
Actually, but I should have said, I didn't say it at the beginning, but it means the world to me that you can take the time to chat to me. Thank you, my friend.
Great just to see you. It's been so long as well.
I know, it really has. But like, for a nation, for a small nation, we've got a ridiculous amount of accents.
Massively, yeah.
And that's not even just counting the whole of Britain, for which there is. Scotland itself, there is a ridiculous amount of accents.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. Sort of, my mum is from Aberdeen, sort of the outskirts, the far Aberdeen Shire. So even more broad. And but my dad, he's from Brighton, down at the bottom of England.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, that's a good dating advert, long distance. And they met on holiday in Venice, over there. So random, hence me. And yeah, literally,
maybe.
Literally, like, if you go in my house, it's like my mum's like, "Hello there, how you doing? Hello, how you doing there, son? You okay?" Speaks like that, you know. And then my dad went, "Hello, you're right, very," you know. And it's just, which is probably why I did acting. Do you know what I mean?
Just continually mocking the accents.
Just practicing every day, listening to mum and dad. But yeah, she, you know, she speaks to relatives up in Aberdeen. She's not like that now. But she, you know, that's proper stereotypical. "Hello, from your day, you come from Aberdeen." Okay.
I had a friend at college, a girl called Rona, when I went to Telford College in Edinburgh before I went down to London, and she was from Aberdeen, and the rest of us were kind of from Edinburgh. And in fairness, she got a bit of a mocking, where we were just going, "Go and say fire, go and say fire." She's like, "Fire," and I'm like, "No, fire." Like, yeah, it amused us.
Oh, it is. It's, you know, it still makes me, you know, sometimes I will speak to mum on the phone and go, "Aye," because that was a very Aberdeen, like, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
It's with two vowels. "Aye." So yeah, and then obviously my dad being English and stuff, I've kind of, you know, off that. But yeah, Glasgow to Edinburgh, Motherwell's even a different accent to Glasgow. Like, "Glasgow, how you doing? You all right? That's amazing, man." Kind of very, you know, but I thought Motherwell was the same, obviously, you know, working through here. But even from Edinburgh, I used to get, you know, slagged again from saying, so somebody said, "What's your phone number?" "Oh, it ends in 77, which is lovely in Edinburgh. That's how, Tony, you're thinking, that's normal.
Yeah.
Over here, "Oh, 77. I said, that's the number. It's 77. 7, 11, 11. So all this changes.
I had, when I lived down south, I bought a PC. This was showing my age a little bit. This was about 1999. And it had a voice activation thing on it. Obviously nowadays it's way better, but this was 99. This was, you know, it wasn't good. And you had to wear a little headset, one of those like phone things. And it was supposed to be so you could dictate your a letter or whatever like that. Anyway, my two best mates were down at the flat with me. Craig, who was Welsh, and Robin, who's a Cockney geezer. He's a proper Cockney geezer. And the two of them were sitting beside me, and we're trying to get this thing to work. We're just, you know, having a bit of a muck about, trying to get this to work. And I have never seen two people laugh so much, because I could not understand what I was saying, because it gave you a passage to read for it to learn. And I was just going, "And then you have to close the door." And it was going, "And then you're feeling like you want more." I'm like, "No, door, door, door." And then eventually I had to go, "Door."
Just change that, yeah.
So that it could, and then it went, "Oh, door, all right, okay, yeah." It just did it.
Oh, it's an English person speaking, yeah, fine, done.
And on it, I swear, the two of them were just rolling about on the floor. They found this hysterical, because every sentence there would be a word where I'd have to just give up and do it in an English accent.
I think people don't understand the frustration of that, you know, especially back then. Nowadays, yeah, even Alexa sometimes struggles now. Every time I say Alexa, she'll light up.
Just made mine light up.
Sorry, mate. You don't know. You can't listen to a TV program with the name in it anymore. But yeah, like literally, like remember you had to phone up, and like numbers like for the cinema, automated. After the tone, please say your cinema that you want to go to, and you'd be like Edinburgh. You picked Dundee. No, do you know what I mean? I remember those days.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Edinburgh, Islington. No. Edinburgh, Bognor. No, right. You're not listening.
We're staying in tonight.
Yeah, we're not going out. We're not going out.
That's it. Stop getting ready. Put the makeup up.
Here's on the telly box. We're fine. So, since obviously your mum Scottish, your dad English, I'm guessing holidays were all over the Britain then, generally.
Well, yeah, like literally that was the kind of, I listened to a few of your guests as well. I was, and Tony, this is going to annoy you, I was all about the caravan.
I honestly, my mum and dad have deprived me because every single one of my guests, and like all of them have talked about caravanning, and I'm like, we didn't do it. Kirsten, my wife, caravanning.
All over it.
We didn't do it.
But like literally, we didn't have a caravan. For a few people, we didn't have the money for a lovely little tour in the caravan. Plus, I don't think my dad could cope in the motorways. But yeah, we kind of tie it in. So we'd always go up to Aberdeen. It's all to do with the family. See the grandparents, the auntie, the uncles. Never used to really stay because we used to stay at their farm because they had a farm. So
nice.
That was like, fields. It was like being on holiday kind of thing. And then we used to drive, I never, because I was like only about 6, but used to drive all the way down to like the bottom of England and do the south coast. Brighton obviously, but then it used to be a different like Butlins or Haven caravan park every year. Yeah. I didn't go abroad till I was 14.
Yeah,
and that was my first. And nowadays, my wife, she was like, yeah, I was like, in Gran Canaria when I was 3. I was like, oh, disgusting. I was a Bognor, Regis. So literally that was my sort of holidays. A lot of them were down south, but obviously I did spend a lot of time, sort of Aberdeen, and then working our way down the east coast. I was thinking about it before I came on today, and I would say west coast, Loch Lomond, all the way up that way. Never really been that, and it's ridiculous because you could probably drive in 3 hours. But, we always used to go, maybe just because of the family, down the east coast, down Dundee, Stonehaven, Dundee, Fife, and then go down, the A1, M1 down that way. But growing up now, from the job that I do, I have kind of now explored more of Scotland, that way. So I've kind of went full circle.
Aye, that's a nice segue. Thank you for that. That was nicely done there. As I was saying earlier, you have been doing Panto, Motherwell for 10 years, 11 years?
11 years last January there, finished.
And I've had the pleasure of chatting to, some big Panto people here in Scotland, like I've already mentioned, Alan, Andy, Grant, who generally are legends at the Edinburgh Playhouse Panto.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But you're the first one in that whole time I've chatted to, obviously, they're now cancelled for this year.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Heartbreaking, really.
Yeah, like literally our industry's just disappeared. It's scary. It is scary. You try and stay positive. Think it was announced I had Easter Panto, which is one that I kind of co-produced through here in Motherwell at the theatre.
That sounds odd to me because Panto to me is Christmas.
Yeah. So basically, my niche, I would say, market is doing pantomime. That's what I'm known for. And the opportunity then came up for like some, the Easter holidays, as the kids are off. And, I put my head together and it, we don't call it the Panto, it's actually called the Easter Egg Extravaganza. And we kind of put titles on that are pantomime titles, but ones that you don't get year in, year out, like Cinderella, Aladdin. We've done ones like, I've done the show like The Railway Children. We've done, what else have we done? We're going to do Alice in Wonderland this year,
Essentially, you take well-known children-friendly stories
literature titles. Yeah.
For lack of a different word, pantomise them.
Pantomimes, yeah. So you get, that's where the writing comes in. You get the story and you add the scenes of the routines and the songs and, expand it out to a pantomime. But that got announced. We were supposed to go ahead with rehearsals on April the 1st. Lockdown, I think, was like around my birthday, so I think it was 20th of March, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was scary. We put money into it, buy the sets, the costume, because you're ready to go. And then obviously this happened, so already you're in debt, and you're kind of going, well, right, okay, well, there's nothing you can do. It's a pandemic, that's it. Next Easter, hopefully, we're still, hitting September now. We're going, well, now the Christmas, back then, if you told me Christmas panel will be cancelled, I was like, I think we'll be right by July, latest. That's the plan was to postpone Easter to July.
When this first started, I thought June. I thought June, July, and then they won't have got rid of it, but they'll have some sort of hold on it so that we can at least try to get back to normal life. Because it does feel like, and obviously, although I don't get the opportunity anymore, I've got a theatre background as well. Yeah. It feels like theatre is the forgotten casualty.
Yeah, it's the last thing on the list. Well, even if it is on the list.
Like for all the theatre across the country, the whole of Britain, it employs thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah.
But in October, the government's furlough ends. There's no news about any other support really for these sort of companies. It's just, and Panto for you guys, pantomime generally pays for a theatre to run for a year.
Yeah, I don't know, Grant and Alan and Andy, it's people think, Panto, it has it's not as bad now. Back in the day, it was stigma of, you're doing Panto. It was maybe downed upon like other actors, like,
I think people like yourself and the other guys that I've spoke to have helped change that, because, and you still get it, obviously a lot of names, soap opera names and things like that would go into Panto and things like that, and but each time it would change who you got, and whereas now that since you've done a place for a long time and you've built up a reputation there, and the same with the guys here in Edinburgh, it's given it a little bit more gravitas almost, I think.
Yeah, it's a
complete, nice, yearly family thing.
Complete art form. People don't give the credit. It's hard work, especially it's at the Motherwell schedule.
How many shows do you guys do a day?
A day, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most shows in the UK. So last Christmas I'd finished 103 shows.
In what, a 4 or 5 week period?
7 weeks.
Right.
So it's, you're sort of Edinburgh, like speaking to Grant and stuff, I think they're around 70, 80.
Yeah, that's an average of about 15-ish, almost 15.
Yeah, you look at the West End, it's like, compared to that, it's kind of, but that's, the gutting thing, that's what I look forward to every year. That's, my income. Speak to the wife, there's no presents these days. So we're I'm kind of in that thing to hold out. There's a lot of things, like I struggled today with the Zoom, even getting Zoom on, because it's been that long since, I would say, the Zoom period where everyone was on every week doing quizzes. Everything was on Zoom. Like there was a point where, wife's friends and stuff like, do you want to go on Zoom? And I was like, well, yeah, we'll chat. But it was like Saturday night, having beer, talking a little bit, but in your living room, and you're, just somebody was watching TV. It was surreal. But yeah, this
It has been a lifesaver though for a lot of people.
Massively, yeah. Like that's even working wise, I've done. The only thing really I've done is for the reading challenge in the UK, and doing videos for that.
I mean, I will forever be grateful because it's kind of given birth to the Scottish Memories.
Yeah,
it's given me this opportunity to talk to some incredible people. So, although it's for everyone, I think around the world, you kind of have to look at the small mercies of it. It's like, this is a horrible situation. I've got no idea what's going to happen with us. Because obviously neither of us are able to work right now either. But at least it's given me this, which I love to do. So,
well, I mean, I think that's the thing. You've just got to look at positives now. I think stuff that you can do around the house and whatever.
Yeah, we've kind of got a little bit away from Scottish.
So sorry, this is when you don't talk to you for a while.
I know, but it's nice. It's nice. It's nice to catch up as well.
Yeah.
So I was going to say Aberdeen-wise, for people who haven't been, can you sort of, give people a thing? But you moved away when you were 4.
Yeah, obviously moving away, but I would say it's weird. I kind of, fortunately my grandparents have passed now, but I do go up there probably more often than I did when I was young. So obviously supporting the team, I'll go up to watch the football and tie it in with seeing some aunties and uncles and, have a weekend there quite with the wife. So Aberdeen is historically called the Granite City because it is made of granite, grey, really. It's definitely changed, now. People used to get a bit of a slag and say, it's grey, miserable, Aberdeen. And it's obviously famous for its oil. That's where the money is, really, in Scotland with the oil. So the rigs offshore and the harbour. Aberdeen, I know you said a few times about Portobello Beach, but obviously you've got the Aberdeen Beach, which has, the amusements and the rides. And growing up, that's what I used to look forward to, going, my dad giving me £1 and going off and spending it in 10 seconds and then going back and not getting one and asking for an ice cream. That's my kind of...
I was a kid, £1 would last a while.
Well, hey, Aberdeen, those machines are dear. I used to trade it in for the 2p's. Felt like I had lots of money then. And then, but yeah, it used to be very much, for me, sort of going to the beach, going to the football, going into Union Street for the shopping with my mum, and going out with my dad, play golf, because there's obviously lots of amazing golf courses up that way off the East Coast. And then, yeah, that was kind of the, my granny and granda having the farm. Then I had I think they used to look at me. I always remember when I said I'm going to be an actor for at least, this is probably leaving school 18 to about 25. My grandparents would ask my mum, is he still doing the acting thing, the hobby? It was a career to them. It was, they were farmers. If I'm not, milking a cow or I'm not driving a tractor, that's not normal. But the best thing, my granddad before he passed did see me once in panto and turned to my mum at the interval and went, "Wow, that's and it feels nice to have that kind of validation."
Isn't it? I've got two moments that are kind of similar, that are like that sort of thing. I was very lucky when I turned around to our mum and dad and said I want to be an actor. They went, okay, and they were very supportive, which was, for a lot of people, your mum and dad go, really?
Just saying, for mum and dad probably will watch this. It wasn't mum and dad, it was the grandparents. Mum and dad, thank you very much, still support me, 34 years old.
But I had two moments where it was like that. And the first one was panto. I did panto, I did Aladdin, I played Widow Twankey. Beautiful dame. I didn't have the beard at the time.
Well, I was going to say.
And I can remember, how you can always spot your family in the audience?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, you can always spot them. I spotted our mum and dad, and the tears were rolling down their face with laughter. They were just properly, laughing so hard. And that was lovely. But the second one, and you'll probably appreciate this, I did a show called Theatre of Dreams, which was actually, it was a first reading of a new musical of the Matt Busby story.
Right, okay, yeah.
For anyone watching doesn't know, Matt Busby was the manager of Man United after the war and set it up. Well, not set it up, but rebuilt it really. And it went through the story of the Busby Babes, and it went right up to him retiring essentially. And I played two parts in it. I played Jimmy Murphy, who was Matt Busby's right-hand man, and later on I played Alex Ferguson. But this was only a first reading, but it was a massive first reading at the Bridgewater Hall in Manchester, which was it was a venue to die for, mate. They didn't have microphones. If they didn't like the sound, they moved the walls.
Oh, of course, yeah. To bounce off.
So we did this first reading of this musical, and my dad managed to come down. It was in Manchester. My dad managed to come down to see it, and I got to see him afterwards. And there was a party afterwards. Like all the football players and quite a few names were there and things, and then us cast, no one's in the party. And I went, Dad, I'm really sorry, I can't get you in, I'm really sorry. And he was like, oh, it's fine. I had a beer with him, and then I went in. And then I was in there, and about 5 minutes later I turned around and he's in the party.
Go in there.
He went up and they went, can we help you? He goes, yeah, my son played Alex Ferguson. He went, oh yeah, in you come. That's how he got in. But anyway, so I went up and I went, how'd you get in? And he told me, he did that. He said that's what he did. So I'm standing chatting to him. And then this guy comes up to me. And this is a moment where my dad was like, oh, because my dad's a massive football fan. Massive, you know.
Yeah.
And he went, sorry to interrupt. Alex Ferguson would like to meet you and have a word with you. And I went, looked about because I was also standing next to the guy who played Matt Busby.
Right,
so
okay.
I expected it to be him, but he was actually saying it to the two of us, and I went, oh, okay. And my dad was like, on you go, son, go on you go. That was a lovely, because he had pride in his face.
Oh, there'd be nothing better.
Yeah, that was lovely. And then I was speaking to him, and he went, oh, you were playing me. I was like, yes, Sir Alex. Yes, I was, Sir Alex. Yeah. And I'll have to censor myself here, but he sort of went, "Oh, good job, and that, good job. Only one thing. You didn't swear at the boys enough. You really have to swear at the boys." And I was like, okay. But it was a lovely moment.
Hair dryer treatment, as it's famously called.
Yeah. But that was the two times when, you know. It's nice, isn't it, when you get that sort of...
Well, it is. It's that, you know, it's into your world kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. So you've been about the place, but obviously the two of us worked at the Dungeons.
Yeah, I'd say Edinburgh is, you know, I moved when I was about 10, 11 till 4 years ago.
Right. Okay.
So I would call that my growing up, you know, when you're growing up, teenager years, early adult life was Edinburgh. So I would say, you know, I'd probably know more about Edinburgh than anyone else. But
so was it, you know, happy times in Edinburgh and the Dungeons?
Yeah, like, you know, we moved. My dad worked for Asda, so it was different sort of management jobs. So that's why we got around the place. But Edinburgh was, you know, yeah, great. Like, obviously, I went to Telford and did, you know, like I think the same course you did, and did acting, and you know, that was my first job. The Dungeons was my first sort of proper paid acting job.
That's a proper way to cut your eye teeth in there. I don't think people realise how hard that job is.
No, I think I don't know if you remember, Tony, but I was only hired to work the summer. It's like a summer job, obviously. More hours, more people, need more actors. And
we couldn't get rid of you.
No, it was 2 weeks in, I lost my voice. And I mean, nothing. I was like, I'm going to the manager and going, so sorry. And we're like, no, just obviously, you know, I had to get a sick note and all that. But yeah, and then I stayed for about 4 years on and off. So yeah, for me, that was, you know, the Dungeons, it was great because it was live, you know, interacting with, you know, a small group of people in tours or whatever. And for me, which you've probably seen, Tony, that's where I kind of honed. Obviously, it is supposed to be scary, as we know. But, you know, I did add a lot.
It's tongue-in-cheek scary, though. It's
tongue-in-cheek, yeah. You know, you get your jump scares and you know, you start off scary, but, you know, you'd want people to enjoy themselves as well, though not going for the whole time. So, yeah, that's where I kind of started my comedy as well. Well, I've always done comedy, but I would put my own bits into it, which kind of led to probably where I am now, doing did stand up from that, and did now obviously comedy actor kind of thing. So
You're still doing your stand up then, or at least before all of it.
yeah, like I said, I'm more sort of comparing now. So sort of, people might. I work for Bernardo's, the charity, sort of once a year, and we do like a sort of like a talent contest for the kids, and Bernardo's, and I'll compare it and chuck a few jokes in, and and get the party started basically. But yeah, I kind of more do sort of comparing, but obviously with that you put jokes in as well, and that. But
if someone was going to come over here, top tips.
Come over to
Scotland in general.
Well, I think
we'll narrow it down afterwards if you want, but in general.
No, I would say one, scenery. The amount of people that even from working in the industry come up for England have said, you don't know how lucky you are. And I think that is a thing we don't really. We kind of just, how are we up there? Not, not going to go though. It's starting to rain probably. And literally it's that kind of, the scenery. If you can't, especially sort of people from America, Australia, it's complete. You've got every, apart from the weather, maybe if you don't like some rain, but from the city going into, to the coasts, to the, Loch Lomond, the greenery, it's pretty much got everything on each side. And every city's got, you get your castles and, especially things like, it's finished now, Game of Thrones, and there's a lot, there's much more of that kind of, people like that kind of stuff, and I think more of the medieval kind of times and stuff. And linking it back to the dungeons, that's where I learned my history.
Whoa, wait a minute.
It's just the exact, that's all I know, it's how to scare you with history.
So generally you think history is someone just shouting loud right in your face and jumping out at you?
Yes, I'll kill you, yeah. No, literally that, learning stuff about Edinburgh, that did, obviously the gruesome stuff, but then I did go on to maybe 8 years later, I think it was, I was then running the Edinburgh Ghost Bus.
Yeah.
And that was a kid that came up from London and wanted somebody to run it up here. And that kind of did help from, and obviously then again, dealing with a lot of tourists and speaking, then you get to know streets of Edinburgh and stuff like that. So, but Edinburgh is second to none. It's got everything now.
I mean, I'm biased that way anyway, especially with live. I think it's a place that everyone in their life should see at least once. But yeah, we're history-wise alone, we're
massively. But I think I would, for people to come over and I think the tourism industry is quite still strong. Obviously with the fringe, which affects us in another way, but not being here and stuff, it's that is a lot of the tourism comes that way. But for everything, it's got everything.
Yeah. So I'm going to finish off with what I like to call difficult choice questions. And I don't just want a quick answer. If I feel like it, I might push you to explain, if that's okay.
That's fine.
So we'll start off with the basics. Shortbread or tablet?
Tablet.
Yeah. Any particular reason?
I think growing up, shortbread was, it's lovely. But I was ever getting a bit tired of it going up. I think it was going up to Aberdeen grandparents, and it was just tablet and a scone. I mean, sorry, shortbread or a scone.
It's good in the world.
And I think, you'd think I'd been eating it all lockdown, but I would go, tablet. I remember tablet coming to save me.
Coming to save you.
I was acting early on. I was doing a tour, and I was burnt out near the end of the tour. And I bought some tablet from the shop. It was like a, wrapped up fancy homemade tablet, proper. I think it was here's a place off top, John's Haven. I always remember acting, doing a show up at John's Haven, and I bet you're going, where's that?
Everyone's got Google. It's fine.
Do you know where John's Haven is?
I'd know the name, but I haven't been.
So I didn't know. It's like below Stonehaven, right? So East Coast, and we had to do like a little show there. It's like, right, it's got a wee harbour and stuff, right? It's completely small, idyllic. And I went at it, we set up for the show, get some lunch. I had a chippy, fish supper, and I was like, oh, this is the best fish I've, oh, it's amazing. And then I went to the shop after it to see the guy, and they had a little stall, and I bought tablet. And I remember eating a bit before the show, and obviously people know it's just really sugar. And I was just like, literally probably the best performance of my life. I was like, and then from then, literally, there was a person I worked for, Motherwell Theatre, their mum would make tablet for the whole cast every year. And that day would come about show 60 something halfway through. And this Tupperware box would come with a tablet, and I was like, oh. And on it, yeah, so tablet. That's a long way around, but tablet.
I should sort of mention as well, and it's something that I'm surprised this hasn't come up before, but when we say a supper, essentially means and chips.
And chips, yeah. Yeah, down in England,
it's fish and chips.
It's not supper, yeah. You have to explain that a lot.
Yeah, it's a random thing, isn't it? Like pizza supper is pizza and chips. Fish supper is fish and chips. But
supper really, that I grew up with, supper was in Aberdeen. Supper's like tea time, dinner time.
Yeah.
Down here and round about, supper is like a little something to eat before bed, like 10 o'clock.
I think it varies wherever you are. It changes.
Yeah. So I don't know how it came to the chip shop.
Like dinner time, tea time, and supper time in some places are three completely different things. Whereas I think my house it tended to amalgamate into the same thing.
Yeah, that's it. I think I would say now it's dinner or tea. Yeah, it's wherever you go, isn't it? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, we're on Chippy because you have been about the place.
Oh yeah.
In the nicest possible sense of the phrase.
Well, thank you.
Chippy sauce, yes or no?
Chippy sauce, absolutely miss it.
Do you want me to
post
you some up?
Thanks for bringing it up, because it's been 4 years since I've had.
Do you want me to post you some?
Salt and sauce, and I've tried to describe it over this way. I think you can buy it now, but it's still it's not the same though.
My local chippy, when I used to grow up, because everyone loved chippy sauce, my local chippy you used to be able to buy it in like an old Iron Brew or a Rola Cola glass bottle.
Yeah.
Fill that up, and then you could buy that and take it home, and you used to just puncture a hole in the top of the metal with a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like literally over here it's ketchup. That's about it. Salt and vinegar. It's not even an option, Tony. So I'd rather move on from this, please.
It's just upsetting you, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's ruined my day, so I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of the day.
Driving through here to get some chip shop sauce.
I probably will now.
Yeah. Haggis, heaps and tatties, or mince and tatties?
Mince and tatties.
Not a fan of haggis, or just prefer?
No, I never. I wouldn't have probably had haggis till I was like it's like alcohol, about 18. I don't know why that is. It wasn't in my household. We didn't. I don't know.
Is that English, mate?
Maybe my dad just rebelled and was standing up for his house. I don't know, mate. I think haggis to me was growing up. It was just to do with buns, right. Buns supper, buns night, and we never really went to any of them. Apart from I got active in one with Robert Buns, and I got a bit. And I was like, it's quite nice and spicy. But growing up was mince and tatties.
Yeah.
I still miss it to this day. It's my wife. She's not here at the moment. I don't know if I'm looking round like she's going to come with a knife in my back. But she doesn't like mash tatty.
What?
Thank you. This is going on the internet, so wherever you are. She doesn't like the texture, right? Which
mashed potato.
Thank you. I didn't know this when I married her. Can I put this out here? Now, I can't really have mashed tatty because you make mashed tatty a good lump sum, don't you, really?
Yeah.
The stuff you can buy, it's too big for one, really, unless you're having a bad day. Now,
I mean, you wouldn't go out and buy, say, 2 potatoes, peel them and mash them just for yourself. You wouldn't do that.
pointless. Put some cheddar boiled potatoes on, But she likes boiled potatoes. She likes, she likes chips. It's not like the potato aspect, it's the texture. So when I go through my mum and dad's, it's for me. Like, if I'm on myself, my mum will be like, it might not be with mince, but, so I do miss that. But granny, granda, it's mince and tatties, proper farming, soup to start, mince and tatties, custard. And it was, proper that all the way. So haggis, I do like now, but I would have it out.
Right.
I would rather have it as well, like a chicken Rob Roy. Which is the chicken breast stuffed with haggis and a whiskey sauce. Very Scottish.
That's lovely.
I would go for that now, but mince and tatties.
I'm feeling sorry for you about the no mashed potato.
So, with the chippy sauce and I can't have mashed tatty, what's the point?
I feel like I've actually just been putting you through a terrible time with this.
Well, it's not like it's lockdown. I have got no job, Tony, as well.
I know, I've spoken about panto you're not able to do. I've spoken about chip shop sauce you can't have. And I've spoken about mashed potato you can't have. So thanks for this has been lovely, mate.
Hey, positive. Oh, wait a minute, I'll go out and lose my weight outside. Oh, it's raining again. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to the gym.
Right, how about Iron Brew or whiskey?
Controversial. Iron Brew.
How's it controversial?
Because I don't like whiskey.
That's fair. Yeah, you're not the first person that said that. You're not the first person. The first person that did was, I think it was Boogie from Fourth One from the Breakfast Show. And he did sort of say, you almost feel like unpatriotic by saying you don't like whiskey. But it's fair. If you don't like whiskey, you don't like whiskey. I mean, myself and almost our 10,000 subscribers to the channel won't judge you. It's not as if I've been giving you a hard time so far.
But growing up, you do get judged. I remember our friend Doogie in Ross, and I think maybe you were there, and took me to a whiskey bar. And it was like, they're all like different types. You can smell, this one's, and I was like, hot! Every one of them would make me reach. So this goes with, and it's not being racist as well, Jack Daniels, any type of whiskey. I don't know if I've had a bad thing, maybe probably with you, Tony, growing up. I
do not know what you're talking about, my friend. I was a bad influence on no one.
I'll drink Iron Brew, original Iron Brew, Diet Iron Brew, and now Iron Brew Extra. They all taste the same, but it doesn't matter nowadays. But Iron Brew.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot how to talk then. I was too busy laughing.
He's back in.
Sliced sausage or black pudding?
Square sausage, yeah.
Square sausage?
Square sausage, yeah.
I suppose if you're not a massive fan of haggis, if you like, you're not going to be a massive fan of black pudding. As my nickname, Sheepie, it's quite hurtful what it's made of. But I know I do. Haggis, right.
Scottish breakfast, fry up, get it all on. Black pudding, tatty scone, square sausage. Yeah, you can buy the packs. I love doing that. Yeah, but if I was going for the roll, square sausage roll with a bit of ketchup or tatty scone, I sometimes feel the black pudding's a bit dry. Sometimes that's my reason. But square sausage, just that. Oh, bit of onion through it as well.
Nice.
I've had that before. That's lovely.
Right. Just to finish off, Tunnock's tea cake or caramel wafer?
Not even joking. If you took the camera through it, I've got both in my cupboard.
No, well, you need to decide. You need to choose.
Well, this
is all about the tough questions, my friend.
Right, tell you what, so it's question time. I would put Tunnock's tea cake. Now, my wife, she can't speak because she doesn't eat tatties, but she rips me to shreds about the way I eat a Tunnock's tea cake. Tony, you're probably thinking, what do you do? Do you eat the bottom bit off first? Do you make a wee hole and suck the cream foam out? No. What did I do? And I won it.
Yeah.
It's disapproved in this household. Savour it, Ian. Don't put it all in at once. It's like, I don't know, it's a tradition for me. It's, if I can, and once I did it whilst driving on the way up to Aberdeen, and Laura gave me one. She went, well, I'm driving, I need to. But she did something that made me laugh, and I did regret it as I coughed the biscuity and like the cream all over the steering wheel. And I might regret doing that again. But yeah, Tunnock's tea cake. Nothing wrong with the wafer. With a cup of tea, bingo, lovely. Tunnock's tea cake on the go. Let's go about. Done.
I don't think there's anything wrong with shoving it all in your mouth in the water. It's exactly the right size.
Why didn't I marry you?
You never asked.
True.
Yeah. But if you want to enjoy it, one bite, at least half and half. You can get 2 mouthfuls.
Yeah. If you're being polite.
If you're in company.
If you're out and about, yeah.
Sheepie, this has been a genuine pleasure. A genuine pleasure chatting today. I don't know how much people will get out of this one for coming to visit Scotland, but I've had a ball, mate.
Rolled off the tongue. I don't even meant it. I know it's about Scottish memories, but there is a few memories in there.
Yeah.
And for the people watching, as Scotland is the best. Hence, why would you buy that? But yeah, I think it's.
Here's the thing, though. If you went about wearing that on a normal day, people would think you were a tourist rather than a local.
That is true. That is true. Or a Scotland football game. Get away with that. That's the only 2 things you get with that. But yeah, obviously a lot of costumes and props. That's what I do now because I can't do it on stage. Just dress up during the day. But
then just continue to come out with material about your wife not liking mashed potatoes.
Exactly. I will get there. I'll be on BBC one day. But I think, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, man. I'm hoping, people, get out, even if it's just good storytelling or whatever. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute joy, mate. I miss you loads. It's been
same to you, and
way too long. I mean, considering
probably next time I speak to you.
I know, yeah, this is very true. Considering the amount of time that you and me used to spend together underground. The fact that
that's a different story.
I'm not talking about the dungeons. I'm talking about when you and me were down the mines, my friend, digging for coal, of course.
Back in knitting by the bag. It's a full circle.
Right, Sheepie, look after yourself. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate, and send my love to the family.
That was genuinely lovely. It was so nice to chat to him there. As you can tell, he's a very, very, very good friend, and I haven't spoke to him for absolutely ages, so it was lovely just to catch up and have a nice chat with him. As I said, I don't know how much for that conversation is actually very good informative wise for you guys coming to Scotland, but hopefully it was entertaining and you enjoyed it, because I know I definitely had a laugh. As always, guys, if you have enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know, and please remember to hit that subscribe button. You genuinely have no idea. It helps the channel out, and it would really mean the world if you would subscribe. But as always, keep yourself safe out there. Till next time, bye humans.